And we are live. Good evening, everyone. All right, give me a second to get my stream manager up here. All right, everything looks good. Okay, so tonight, we're going to be playing some more MapleStory, as you can see, but we are going to be playing Wind Archer, and we're going to be getting Wind Archer to level 70, and then we're going to move on from there. From there, we're probably going to play. Let me look at my Legion real quick. So I've already got a Phantom. I've got an Aaron here. I think we're also going to do Xenon, assuming that we can get to level 70 here. All right, so yeah, we're just going to continue with the Fairy Academy theme dungeon here. So let's get right into it. I'm not going to be narrating this. I have narrated this before, and I have done this quest many a times. So this would be my technically second time playing Wind Archer here. Let's see, I think I need to switch around my keybinds for grinding. Let's see, what do you do? Oops, thought that went all the way to the top. Actually, you know what? No, I like that better. We'll do it like that. Alright, Cootie, what you got to say? Alright, cool. I'm gonna kill 100 onionies. I just got done recording some Age of Mythology. Oh. Okay, we're still good. Yeah, I just got done recording some new Age of Mythology videos, so I'm excited to put those up on YouTube. I believe episode... It's either 8 or 9 will be going up tomorrow, yeah, at 5 p.m. I had another video go up today at 5, and we're going to have one every day this week. So that would be all the way up until Saturday, I believe, yeah. And then I'm going to be recording a new batch on Saturday, and then we're going to have videos. I guess it's 6 videos a week, right? I don't know that I'm going to be able to keep up with that pace, but I'm gonna give it hell while I still have the chance. Oh, yeah, and I played Bowmaster yesterday, so I'm trying to, as you can hear, double tap up in order to go up instead of just like that, which, personally, I think that's how Bowmaster should be. You just hold up and press Alt, but whatever. Grab our N here. Although, it's not going to do us a whole lot of good, because I believe that you need over level 200 in order to use the EXP coupons. I'm really improving with my editing skills. Now, I say that with a grain of salt, right? Because it's not like I had any to begin with, so I'm kind of just learning as I go. But this latest video, I think, is probably the best one that I've made so far. Maybe not necessarily gameplay-wise, because I made a pretty egregious mistake about halfway through. But in terms of like the actual video quality itself, I think I'm finally getting it dialed in to where I'm like, okay, yeah, this is like kind of where I want it to be. Oops. All right. And we have to go save the Chillins. There we go. One down, 2 to go? Is it 2 or 3? I think it's just 2. Yep. All right, move on to the next area. More of the same. I I bought Space Marine 2 yesterday, or no, day before actually, and on Monday. I still have yet to play it. I've been so damn busy. I just started listening to the audiobook for is it Dark Imperium? I think is what it's called. The first in the series just after the Primaris Space Marines were introduced. So they kind of go over the fall and then resurrection of Guilliman. And that's kind of where I had to stop off. I think I'm only about 2 hours into the audiobook. But I'm really liking it so far. I've done quite a bit of reading on the other books, though. I've read almost the entire Horus Heresy series now. I haven't read The Siege on Terra, which I know, that's like the whole point of reading that series. But it's a lot of books. It's a lot of reading to get through. But I've also read several other Space Marine novels that are, you know, standalone books mostly, or they have a lot of anthology books that are like short stories that I've read that I really, really liked. I think my favorite of those was probably Damnos, which is just a standalone book about the Ultramarines having to go in and save the planet Damnos, which ended up turning to be a tomb world where the Necrons were. Really, really good book. If you're just, it's basically an action book, right? It kind of reads similarly to like maybe like a comic book, but it's a novel. All right, so we completed this quest now. I'm really interested to try out Space Marine 2. Probably I will have time tomorrow or this weekend, I guess. It's one of those games that I'm considering making a Let's Play series for on YouTube. The purpose of my starting that channel was to play Age of Mythology Retold. And now, I mean, obviously that game isn't going to last forever. So I need a, I need a plan for what I'm going to do next, even if I'm not there yet. So I think that is probably what I'm going to do, but still haven't decided yet. All right, here we go. All right, let's go beat the easiest boss in the game. What's up? Cool. Oh, really? Come on, snail, work with me here. And we've saved the chillins. And we get our victory cutscene. But I'm mostly here for the stuff. Hooray, we got our stuff. Curiously, you actually have to do this next quest in order to actually get all of this stuff. I find that a little silly. I think they should just include everything in the original, but, whatever. Alright, so let's equip. So we've got our bracelet, and we've got our mark, and we've got our badge and our cape here. So I know that you can scroll the cape using the specialty scrolls that you get from the boss, but I really don't think that that's worth the time, if I'm honest. Alright, so I guess it doesn't necessarily matter what we pick next, so I'll just put some points in here and be done with it. And we've got some points to assign here, and we're all done here, so let's go to... Can we do Military Camp 1? What level are we? 42. We might be able to do that. I think we have a better chance of doing Land of the Wild Boar. Let's see. Yeah, we're gonna do just fine here. let's see, how much are these worth? 183? Yeah, okay. Let's give me a little bit of an advantage here. Yeah, there we go. And I definitely want some attack power, so we're gonna do that as well. Cool. All right, as we're getting into grinding, I should probably pick a topic. Well, I guess I could talk about Warhammer a little bit more. There we go. I couldn't think of the word. So I just started reading Dark Imperium, like I said, and I don't know how I really feel about the Primaris Space Marines. I get why they're doing it, because, you know, they can't copyright Space Marine. It's too generic of a term. But they can own Primaris. And I feel like that's likely the reason why they changed the Imperial Guard's name to the Astra Militarum as well, which I also don't agree with that decision, but whatever. So, I don't know. It's just like, oh, hey, you know, we have Space Marines, but better now. Ooh, wow. And, I don't know. I thought the whole purpose of the Grimdark universe was that, like, that was it, you know, that they won't be able to get back to where they were. You know, the dark age of technology has passed. There is no hope, you know, in the far reaches of the future. There's only war. No hope. But I guess they need a bit more of a narrative now, or to sell more models, because and this is entirely a guess here, but likely they have seen a significant drop in Space Marine sales, because, I mean, they've been making Space Marines for, what, 30 years? Or 40 years? Maybe it's not quite that old, but a very, very long time. And those, I mean, even if you still have pewter models, you can play those models on the tabletop and be just fine. Just as long as you buy the new codex. But now you need to revamp your army with these Primaris Marines and blah, 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 and all the other stuff that comes along with playing them. And it seems like they're doing that for a lot of factions, actually, introducing a lot of new elements that were not there before, and then claiming, "Oh no, you're wrong. They were always here. What are you talking about?" Which seems a bit disingenuous to me. But I will continue to play their game and kind of love that universe because it's so over the top, so genre defining. Just think about all the things that are out there that are based on Warhammer. It is so weird to think that there are so many properties that exist today that are well-beloved properties that were originally supposed to be based on Warhammer. One of probably the highest profile examples of this is StarCraft. That game was originally supposed to be Warhammer 40k until Blizzard decided that they wanted to, you know, own the IP instead of making something for Games Workshop. So that's how we got StarCraft. You know, there was a movie that a friend of mine turned me onto on Amazon Prime recently that was supposed to be a Warhammer 40k movie, and I believe Games Workshop, and I could be wrong, but I believe the story goes that Games Workshop pulled out, and they decided to make the movie anyway. And for the life of me, I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. But I mean, if you go and watch it, it's just Warhammer. I mean, it's pretty incredible how much Games Workshop is willing to just not use their incredible brand in many, many ways. Which is at least part of the reason why I'm so excited to see Space Marine 2. Like, my god, there is so much opportunity there for more games. We need that. We need more Warhammer games in every medium. I want to see more Warhammer tabletop game. I want to see more boxed board games. I want to see more, hell, Warhammer card games. Sure, why not? I want to see Warhammer video game. And they've got this incredible universe that they've built up to have a infinite number of available stories to them based on the way that they set it up, and it still makes sense within context. And I feel like most of what they do is squander it. In outside of the tabletop, right, being the primary form of playing the game, um, honestly, I think the only other thing that they're really doing correctly, or taking advantage of in a way that, benefits not only them but the consumer too, is actually their books. The Black Library is extensive, and they have books covering literally 10,000 years worth of lore. And I mean, a few of them are a bit contrived, but by and large, they are miraculously well written, and they also do quite a good job with their audiobooks. Now, granted, I've only listened to about 4 or 5 of their audiobooks, and I've actually read probably 20 or 30, between 20 and 30 of their actual novels. Actually, no, I guess it would have been more now. Anyway, many of their novels is the moral of the story here. And they are really good. Like, they flesh out the characters super well. They flesh out the story. They're fun to read. Like, they're that ridiculous kind of sci-fi that you really can only get with Warhammer. And it's just I don't know. I like it a lot. I'm very into it. I don't think Buddy here is going to do very well on this one. I don't know, we'll see. Actually, we're doing okay. Let's see how we do here. You know, I forgot to buff. Oh, you know what? I probably should be using my F instead of my A. There we go. You know, out of context, that might sound a bit funny, I realize now. Let's see, what are some other things that we can talk about? Oh, I know. The PlayStation 5 Pro. Boy, isn't that a awfully contentious topic at the moment. So Sony came out, was it today or yesterday, with the new specs of the PlayStation 5 Pro and its new price. And a lot of people are balking at the price. They're like, oh, $700 for a console. And a lot of people are making the typical, PC versus console comparisons. And I think that most of them are right? $700 is a lot of money. And a mid, it's not even a new console. It's just a mid-gen refresh of a existing console. So, I mean, I can understand people's concerns in the value proposition there. Personally, though, I don't really mind the price that much, if I'm honest. I'm interested in the console. I definitely am going to buy it. And yeah, I just, I don't know. I feel like the price is okay for what you're going to get. It is basically just a GPU upgrade. You do get more storage, but you could always put more storage in yours. I mean, I did for mine. Now we have a buttload of storage in the PlayStation. And that's super, super easy. I'm definitely going to be doing that again for the Pro when we get that in November. In terms of the actual upgrade itself, right, you're getting a bigger GPU die with more compute cores. You're getting new, what are effectively DLSS offerings. They're calling it PSSR, which I don't know how I feel about that name. It makes sense. The PlayStation Super Resolution, as opposed to Deep Learning Super Resolution, or no, Super Sampling, excuse me, not Super Resolution. Super Sampling. So it'd be PlayStation. Oh, maybe it is PS. Oh, I forget. Anyway. So they're basically getting their own version of DLSS, which I think for a console is worth its weight in gold. It's free performance, effectively. yes, I know that there are certain like image quality downsides that you can get from something like that, but again, by and large, I think that this is a fantastic thing for a console, and I don't know that people are really ready for it. People don't Most console gamers don't tend to know or care about the technologies that run their games, which is totally fine. That's one of the biggest advantages of owning a console is you don't have to know jack about anything to enjoy it. You just sit down. I mean, you download the game, blah blah blah, wait for it to install a patch day one. It's like 40 gigs, and you're like, ah, fuck. But you know, outside of those annoyances, it's you sit down on the couch with your controller and you enjoy your game. So I think people are really going to be surprised at just how much of a performance uplift there really is with something like PSSR when comparing it to something like DLSS from NVIDIA. But beyond that, not only do you get a more powerful GPU and DLSS, or PSSR as they're calling it, you get faster memory. So, what I should say, faster system memory, not faster storage memory. That needs to be addressed. So, bigger, badder, better GPU, bigger, badder, better system memory, which will make everything work better. I think is a totally worthy upgrade. And $700, I don't think it's that much for what you're getting. Now, some of the things that I don't agree with. I think that console for $700 should come with a disk drive and a stand. No questions. I mean, that is ridiculous that it doesn't. I understand that you can buy both of those things aftermarket, or, well, not aftermarket. I mean, they're from Sony, right? But, you know, outside of the purchase. In addition to. There we go. I think is the right term. And, you know, I will be doing that because I kind of have to in the area that I keep my PlayStation in. Because what I'm going to be doing is, after I upgrade to it, I'm going to go put that in my living room on my big fancy TV so I can enjoy it there. But then I'm going to be taking my current PlayStation 5 and actually placing it here on my desk and getting a capture card so that I can stream PlayStation games. So you all will be able to, you know, enjoy that with me. There's lots and lots of PlayStation games that I want to play on stream to share with everybody that I have been, you know, I've played forever and ever. And I've never really had the opportunity to kind of share my love of these games with really anyone. So I'm looking forward to that. But to get back onto topic, yeah, I think the PlayStation 5 Pro should come with the disk drive and the stand. But otherwise, I think that it is a worthy upgrade, even at the price that they are offering. That is certainly going to be an unpopular opinion. I get it. Alright, let's take care of Buddy here. Oh, you know? What level do I need to be in order to... 101. Okay. We're not going to be able to get to that today, but that's okay. There are a few games that I am very interested to play on the Pro to see the uplift in performance. I think one of them is Hogwarts Legacy. I really am into the Harry Potter stuff, and so Hogwarts Legacy was kind of like, oh hey, you have the entire castle to go and explore. Oh, but there's also a game attached to it, which, I mean, if it was just the castle to explore, that would have been good enough for me. But anyway, they offer a like ray traced option in their graphics menu, and on the base PS5 it runs well enough. But I'd like to see that running in 4K 60 frames per second. I think that would be, oh, am I gonna die? No, I'm not. Yeah, because I just realized I forgot to go get any kind of healing potions whatsoever. I think I have the beginner ones on me, but that's it. I didn't go get any ginger ale or whatever. Game. You gonna... Game. What the hell? Why... Oh. There we go. I've got a keyboard that doesn't have like a sill around the edge of it. It's kind of just like flat, and then the keys are there. The cable for my headphone kind of like jammed underneath the right key, and I wasn't able to press it down far enough to move to the right. Other than Hogwarts Legacy, I haven't really run across a PlayStation 5 game that doesn't run well. So we'll see how much of a difference we can actually see with that. I think what will end up happening is there will be games that are tuned, like they have a higher setting tuned specifically for the PlayStation 5 Pro. And then they'll have a version of the game. Well, it wouldn't be necessarily a version of the game. It would just be a graphics setting, right? There would be a graphics setting that was tuned for the original and tuned for the Pro. So, yeah, I'm here for it in terms of like, oh yeah, let's turn up all the graphics. I think a really good example of that probably would be something like a Cyberpunk, adding an enhanced graphics option. I can't think of any other games off the top of my head. I mean, obviously, you know, first-party games, I think, probably will get some kind of enhancement. You know, the Spider-Mans and the Horizon Zero Dawns and the God of War games and stuff like that. So that'll be cool. Let's see, what else is in other news? Well, that kind of does it for the topics for today, I suppose. So I should probably explain my new plan here. So I'm going to be changing up the way that I'm doing my Legion. For a bit. Because I kind of want to get through some more characters so that I have a better understanding of who I want my main to be. I'm starting to lean toward Bowmaster, but there are several classes that I wanted to try otherwise, including what you're seeing now, which is Wind Archer. I've always had a proclivity toward the archer-based classes in this game, and so far I'm quite liking Wind Archer. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to probably get 5 or like between 5 and 10 characters to level 70 just for their level 1 link skill. And then I'm going to go back and get all of those characters up to, I think it's 140, and then we'll go to 210 after that. But whatever their second and third level link skill is, because I actually don't know what it is off the top of my head. For the level requirement, that is. Goal right now is to get 8K Legion, which I believe is every class at 200 or something like that. It's close to. And hopefully we can get them all up to 210 so that we can have their third level link skill. Once we get to there, I'm going to like actually pick a main. I think I'm going to focus on Bowmaster for the time being in terms of like the high level stuff. But yeah, we're actually going to pick a main then, and then we will do Chaos Root Abyss. I think I should probably be strong enough then. You know, I'm going to Star Force all my gear and... Oh, shit. So I'm going to Star Force all my gear and, you know, get my cube rolls and do stuff like that, so it should be pretty fun. You know, I don't normally... I don't even know if I should talk about this because it's not something that I'm super interested in, but it is an interesting development. So, Nikocado Avocado. Likely most people know that name, at least somewhat. I don't watch his videos. I have never been interested in that kind of content. Um, but it's kind of hard to avoid him generally just because his content is so pervasive. And there are many other YouTubers that make content by simply talking about his. And so he recently released a video called 2 Steps Ahead. And if you didn't know, he is like a mukbang YouTuber, so he eats lots of food and makes videos about it. But he's quite fat. I think he was, what, 350, 400 pounds, something like that? Very, very heavy. Unhealthily so. And recently, he had made several videos that, dude, it was Asmongold had reacted to. I believe a YouTuber had made a video that he had reacted to about Nick. And then the very next day, he uploads a video called 2 Steps Ahead, where he's now thin. I don't think he actually stated how much he weighed then, but I mean, he probably lost 200 pounds or more. I mean, he looks like a normal person again. Which is an insane accomplishment in and of itself. But then the dude goes on to explain that it was just all a social experiment. And I'm just like, wow. I have zero interest in your your channel content, but just like the dedication and lengths that you would have to go through just to make that work, to make a YouTube video, is insanity. I mean, you're betting your life on this, basically, for content on the internet. It's just, it's wild, man. It is wild that somebody put themselves through that. Just for that. I mean, was it even worth it? Who knows? The guy is such a character actor that I don't know that we'll ever get the full story on that one. I'm sure he'll try and, dramatize absolutely everything. But even now that he's pulled this stunt, I'm still not interested in his content. But it is interesting to see someone who is willing to go to, extreme lengths to make a YouTube video. I mean, that's just like, that's fucking nuts, dude. No thank you. Like, it's just not healthy. Not... I don't even think it's worth it, Like, sure, he's getting all kinds of press and stuff like that, but how many of those people are actually going to stick around outside of the shock value of this thing that he's did, or accomplished, maybe? Is that the right word to describe it? I'm not even sure. It truly is something. It is something. Now it seems like everybody and your mom is making a video about it. And here I am talking about it on stream, even though I don't really care all that much about, his actual channel. So, I don't know. Maybe he did accomplish what he was, what he set out to achieve. Which, good on him, He had a goal, and he absolutely was able to pull through. There is at least something to be said about that. There are many occasions where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this thing. And it's going to take me a long time to do it. And then I drop it like 2 weeks later, like, this is too much, I ain't going to do it. So there is at least some commendable effort in that, but outside of that, I think that's about it. Alright, I guess I should probably change the topic from that, because, I don't know, it's kind of weird to talk about, but it was kind of weighing on my mind, so Here we are. I decided to get a boom arm for my mic. Right now, it's kind of just on a stand sat in front of me, which is not super optimal. Um, I'd much rather have it be here than down here, even though it's, to be honest, it's not that long, it's not that big of a difference in terms of actual distance. But having done live audio for events and things like that, really bothers me that the mic is so far away from my mouth. I cannot tell you how many times I had to coach a presenter or a musician or a comedian or anybody up there who was going to be holding the microphone to not hold it like this, like away from them. It drove me absolutely nuts to see people hold a mic like near their chest or near their waist. And then they look at me and they're like, it doesn't work. And I'm like, you hold it to your friggin' mouth. Jesus. And I would coach them. I would tell them how to do this before they got up on stage, but no one listens to friggin' me. Oh, what do I know what I'm talking about? Oh, gee, I just set all this shit up. It's not like I have any idea what I'm talking about. Fuck. As you can see, I have a lot of repressed feelings about that particular subject. And I feel like if, any other sound AV professionals watched this, they would probably also have the exact same gripe. Like, hold the friggin' microphone right. So it bothers me that it's down here because right now I'm kind of breaking my own rule and I'm not holding the microphone right. So I got that boom arm. It should be here tomorrow, I think. And probably we'll give it a test out with a YouTube video first to see what that's going to sound like. And then I will stream with it on Friday, right? Yeah, because tomorrow's Thursday. Yeah. So likely you'll see me in frame with the actual mic on Friday. So that's pretty cool. I'm like a proper like streamer guy now with the boom arm in the frame. Wow. So cool. I'm actually looking to improve my streaming setup quite a bit come October. New PC upgrade stuffs, new motherboard, CPU, RAM, storage, things like that. But I'm also now looking into getting some like sound isolating foam for the walls, and even maybe getting some freestanding foam isolating, like they're like these walls that just come on stands that are kind of like just foam walls. And I can place those on either side of my desk because the area that I'm in right now, it's basically all hard surfaces. So I think I'm going to get a rug for the floor, so that'll help quite a bit with the sound. And then I'm going to be adding a bit onto the walls and perhaps a bit that I can move around here on the sides. So hopefully that will improve the audio quality, but also kind of reduce the ambient noise in the room. Because unfortunately, just the way that I have everything set up right now, you're going to be able to hear my cats regardless. There's very little that I can actually do about that. You can probably hear the air conditioner, maybe. It's not super loud, but yeah, no, I absolutely have to run it. I live in Florida. It's like a billion zillion degrees here all the time. So yeah, I can't just turn it off and be okay. It would suddenly be 90 degrees in my house, and I'm not doing that. I deal with that shit outside all the fucking time. I do not need that in my home. So there's that. I also need to get a bigger desk mat. I've been wanting to buy one on LTT store, Linus's store, but the one that I want has been sold out for like 2 months, and it's driving me nuts. I want to get a 1000 by 500 millimeter, and it's just like, I can't buy one. So probably gonna have to look elsewhere for that. What else is there? I need to actually get like a proper logo for the channel. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do that yet. I think I'm going to contact like a professional artist to kind of work with me to see if I can get like a themed logo and banner set I kind of just threw together the ones that I have now. The logo just being a picture of my cats. I thought that would do well. Let's see, we are up to 53 now. Okay, cool. Oh, you know, I think I said earlier that I was going to do Xenon next. I think I'm going to do, shoot, what is it called? Hoyoung? Is that what it is? The one with the fan and the tiger? I forget. That's the one I'm going to do next. I've never played him before, and he's like #1 on the list of like classes that you should do first, so I guess that'll be my next one. I'll get him up to 70, and then move on from there. So what time is it now? So it's 8:41 now, and we're only going to be streaming till 10, so probably we'll be able to just get him started, and then we'll have to finish him up on Friday, I imagine. Kind of on a unusual and rather unrelated note, I recently got some new shampoo from what is it called? Bath and Body Works. I helped a coworker move, and she ended up compensating me with several gift cards that she had for Bath and Body Works. So I went there, and I don't normally shop there. It's not necessarily a store that's kind of like geared toward what I normally buy. So I just ended up getting some like toiletries and a couple of candles. And wow, oh my god, the shampoo and conditioner are like fucking crazy good. My hair has never looked or felt this good ever. And I have a rather unusual haircut. I've got like a side shave. Some people like compared to Skrillex, which I suppose is not entirely inaccurate. You know, it's kind of shaved all the way around, and then I've just got the one long bit on the top. But yeah, I like it quite a bit. And I happened to get one of their candles. I really like it a lot. Yeah, so I think I'm a Bath and Body Works guy now. Yeah. Didn't see that one coming. That one's new. The I guess that's how they get their customers, right? Just like, oh wow, this smells good, and then people just end up coming back forever and ever. Wish I had some more MapleStory topics. We've kind of covered all of those. We talked about the updates. We've talked about, you know, some of the current events. Talked about some of the current controversies. But when you're grinding, you know, not really a whole lot gameplay to narrate, so that kind of sucks. As much as I love this game, it is, for the most part, quite boring. There's, you know, a lot of downtime in terms of like, oh hey, you know, you just need to do this thing for, you know, an hour, 2 hours, or whatever. And I don't necessarily mind that. It is soothing in some ways. You know, making steady, good progress by, you know, working toward a goal. I think that's good. But man, if it doesn't make the most boring streaming content. I suppose a lot of the large streamers, the way that they generally handle this kind of thing is they're kind of like bouncing questions and all kinds of other topics off of their audience, right? I think that's generally how they handle that. And then you can kind of stream basically whatever. I mean, a lot of people just get away with the just talking, and it's literally just them yakking at the camera for God knows how long. Which, that is incredibly boring if you ask me. I'd much rather be playing a game during all of that. I really don't like this one. It takes too long. Actually, I could say something. I actually don't really like any of the portal events. If I'm honest, they kind of... Yes, they do break up the grind, which is good. But they also add what I would describe as an unnecessary, like, break in concentration. It's very annoying to have to, like, change gears to go and do that instead of just, like, focusing on one thing. Maybe that's just me. I cannot, however, deny the absolute usefulness of the additional XP that they offer, though. You know, I'm probably strong enough to move on to... Oh, shoot. What is it with the skelly dogs? You called military camp. Yeah, let's try that. Yeah, because we're within 10 levels of these guys, so... I think I need to be in a lower... Oh, yeah, we're good. Alright, so these guys are, yeah, more than double the XP. Okay, that's cool. We'll get 60 here and move on to... What, Copper Drakes are next, I think? Look. Yeah, we're going to Copper Drakes. I'm glad that they kept them in the meta. I really like Copper Drakes. I like their area. I like Sleepywood generally. It scared the shit out of me as when I was a kid because, we didn't really understand what was going on in Sleepywood. Now I just think it's a really cool area. And this guy's kicking my ass. There we go. There we go, much better. Hey, that's a couple XP. Now you see, that I think is a pretty good example of what they can use to kind of break up the monotony. Is the extra, like, boss enemies that can spawn, or will spawn, in these normal maps. Not a big fan of the portals, but that's okay. I was watching a video earlier today. It was actually one of Asmongold's videos that he was like reacting to another about toxic positivity in video games. And it was kind of the idea that there are people online who, and I believe that he was specifically referring to people who do YouTube videos, but I'm sure it could be others as well. Perhaps, people who have an audience elsewhere, maybe a Reddit, for instance, that they intentionally and knowingly are not criticizing certain games. And so they are constantly saying, hey, good things about all of these, about games that have problems. And knowingly avoiding all of the negative issues in order to gain clout with that company. Have sponsorships, have insider knowledge, have all of these things. And to me, that brought up a greater discussion of Why do we have so many games that are coming out recently that you need to do this with at all? Like, I feel like we have a lot of games coming out, and a lot of them are just mediocre or just not very good at all. Like, have lots and lots of problems in terms of, you know, really basic stuff, voice acting, pacing, like technical issues, things like that. And it's just like, I can't believe that we need to have this conversation, because there are people, and I believe the term that they used was shilling, for games that are just not good. And it's kind of making the system where we are now coddling these very, very big game developers. And, you know, people are like, oh, you know, these game developers are going to lose their job. Well, yes, that's true, and obviously we don't want to see anybody lose their job, but here's the thing. The game that they had produced isn't very good, and, you know, a really good example of this is Concord. A lot of the discussion around that game had absolutely nothing to do with the actual gameplay itself, and it had to do with the politics surrounding the game. The idea that, you know, they are incredibly inclusive, and they want to, you know, make sure that everybody of every gender is able to be represented in that game. Which is all well and good. I think that those things should be included in games. I feel like people should have the opportunity to play as a character that looks like them. But what I don't think that we should be doing is shoehorning in all of this extra, for lack of a better term, diversity in places that either it doesn't belong, doesn't narratively make sense, or even worse, is the driving force of the game to begin with. So they're focusing on things like, you know, external factors, instead of actually putting time, effort, and money into the actual gameplay itself. I think that there are games that can absolutely do inclusivity very, very well. One that I recently played that is spectacularly good at this is Palia, which is a small, like, I guess I don't really have a better term to describe it, but like a cozy game, it's an MMO, right? But it doesn't have combat, and it does this inclusivity very, very well. And it's made it a core part of the game, in an unintrusive way that makes total sense within its own narrative. And I think that's fantastic. Good for them. But there are other games like Concord that I feel like sacrificed portions of their actual gameplay so that they could have this in their game. Obviously, that is entirely my own opinion and wild speculation. I don't know, it seems that way. I mean, think about all the reviews that you saw for Concord, right? Almost all the game journalists were talking about things that were going on in the game, instead of actually talking about the things that people were really talking about, which often were like the like inclusion and diversity stuff. Like, well, on top of that, I don't think that Sony really needs another live service game, and there's a lot to be said about that as well. But I guess my point here is, and what I'm trying to get at is, game developers are going to live and die on the product that they are able to produce. Now, whether or not they actually want to make that product, or it becomes a product of, you know, development by committee, in terms of, you know, executives telling them, hey, you need to include these things in the game, and that ends up bogging down production time or increasing budgets, or, you know, otherwise making the game worse. That's a shitty situation to be in, and ultimately is not their fault. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, these people, you know, should fail for these things, right? But it is a free market, unfortunately, and so that means that if your game sucks, it's not going to sell, and if it doesn't sell, the studio is going to shut, just like what happened to Concord. And I believe what else happened to that recently? Redfall, I believe it was called, did very, very poorly, and they ended up shutting the studio. Although that game did not necessarily have the same problems that Concord did. Yeah, I mean, that was problem upon problem upon problem. I mean, people just don't need another live service game, and I don't think that Sony needs another live service game. I mean, shit, they have Helldivers, which is raking in players hand over fist. Now, granted, there are certain decisions that the developers of that game have made that are not necessarily popular, but I mean, in terms of like success, that game is a success. That is very hard to dispute in terms of like, oh hey, copies sold and player numbers. Even though they have made some silly decisions, they still maintain many of their players. Concord is kind of a I hope that this goes to show other game developers, but more importantly, other like game executives, game companies, that you can't have a game stand on virtue signaling alone. There needs to be a competent, well-built structure underneath that, and then, and only then, can you add all of these other things that people want into a game. Honestly, outside of Concord, I think Sony's killing it right now. Like, Astrobot just came out. Or, yeah, Astrobot, yeah. It just came out, and that's like, I guess their new mascot, it seems like. A new platformer. That's really cool. Especially from Sony. I mean, that's generally something that you'd expect from Nintendo, and they're like. So, and I guess a lot of people are pretty upset about the PlayStation 5 pricing. I'm not super upset about that, but I already talked about that earlier, so I'm not going to rehash that. I think they'll be fine. Concord was definitely a big loss for them, but they're going to be alright. We will see yet more from them. Hopefully, this is a good indicator that maybe they should focus on some other things, you know? Let the live service games lie. Let them be them. We certainly don't need another friggin' hero shooter. That market is already absolutely saturated. And that is one market that I have absolutely zero interest in. Well, I guess outside of Team Fortress 2, but I mean, that existed before the hero shooter genre moniker even existed. But back then, it was just a class-based shooter. And I would argue that it still is. That even though games like Overwatch and Valorant and those kinds of games have certainly taken a lot of inspiration from TF2, they are dissimilar enough that I feel like they could be categorized differently. And I still love TF2. I still play TF2 pretty regularly. It's amazing that after all this time, the game is still getting support, even if it is sparse. I mean, most games, instead of getting updates or, you know, community members trying to put together a movement to get the game fixed, they're staring down the barrel of getting the server shut off forever. Now, I don't know that that will ever happen with TF2 because of all of the community server infrastructure. I could absolutely see it happening in many years where Valve shuts down their official servers and then it will simply go back to the way it was. In the very beginning of TF2's lifespan, there were no official Valve servers. Every server that was available for multiplayer was a community server. And at one time during Quick Play, community servers were included in the Quick Play, like the matchmaking system. Now that is not the case. They are only official Valve servers, but I could see it happening where TF2 in the future goes back to that original idea where, sure, the players can still play, but we're just simply not going to be hosting our servers. And I believe the Stop Killing Games movement, I think that's their core ideology, right? You want to make sure that you can still play these games after service has ended. And I feel like that's a good way to do it. I think TF2 is a really good example of a game that can work in that way. Now, not all live service games are going to be able to function that way, simply because of the way that they are built. But I don't know, perhaps there is a way to do that for others. Not super knowledgeable on that particular subject, but who knows? Maybe there is a good answer out there and we simply haven't gotten to it yet. Although I suppose we could speculate. What might that look like? Okay, so let's take Helldivers, for example. So Helldivers works on a system of servers that all talk to each other, and you're able to update basically what is a world map all the time by interacting with the world. So, you go and liberate a zone on the map, and then the planet's total liberation goes up or down based on if you're winning or losing. That is a really cool system. That system only works well in a live service format. However, the actual gameplay itself, outside of the mechanics that are happening on a macro scale, the moment-to-moment gameplay is not dissimilar from a regular multiplayer game. It is not unreasonable to think that it would be possible for a person on a PC to host a server to accommodate 4 players to drop onto a map. Now, granted, you probably wouldn't be able to replicate the macro scale warfare, but you would still be able to actually play the game. You'd still be able to go and kill bugs and bots without all of the additional context to killing those bugs and bots, which I do think is an integral part of the game. But if they ever did shut down official server support, I don't think that it would be unreasonable to develop tools to allow people to host community servers in that way. So that would be a good example there, but I'm sure that there are other examples that it's just like, no, it's not really going to work out very well. I know that Thor over at Pirate Software has got a pretty strong opinion in the defense against Stop Killing Games, because his argument is that not every game can be developed in that way. And I don't necessarily agree with all of his points. I do, by and large, agree with the overall message, right? I think that the games that can be developed in a way... Oh, I lost my pet. Oops. I forgot to feed him. There we go. Let's see, are you hungry? Yes. Okay, that's good enough. Yeah, so I think the games that can be developed in a way where you can still play them offline, using my Helldivers 2 example is a good example, but I'm sure there are lots and lots of live service games out there that you literally couldn't. And perhaps that's okay. Not every company wants to develop back-end tools for players to be able to use to host their game. So this is both a good and bad example, which is MapleStory private servers. So if Nexon ever decided to shutter MapleStory, there's no way in hell that they're going to release this game out into the world and be like, okay, well, here's the final version. You can just host your own private servers. People are going to do it anyway, and people do it right now. And those private servers are, a lot of them are very good. And they give you a lot more choice than the base game does in terms of like, oh hey, you know, over here on this server you can play on version 55, over here on this server you can play version 111. Which is cool. It's not sanctioned, but it is cool. So, using that as an example, Nexon most certainly is not going to do that, and I don't think that we should necessarily expect them to. But the community will still be able to get that to work. I mean, MapleStory will likely exist for a very long time, even if Nexon decided to shutter the official servers. That can't be said for every game, though. There's not necessarily going to be a big, strong community for every single live service game out there that is going to put the time and energy into, like, reverse engineering the game, putting that up onto a server, and then, you know, having a large enough community to be able to support the costs of running a server. So, I mean, yeah, I can definitely see both sides of the argument. I'm probably on the fence, or probably in the camp that says, if it is possible, then do it. So in MapleStory's case, even though Nexon would never, they could. It is possible. So I think that's probably what I would say. And is that against? I suppose technically that would be against the Stop Killing Games movement, because they are saying that every live service game should have this, regardless of what the devs want or not. And I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that might be a little unrealistic, a bit pie in the sky, if you will, to expect that. Now, I suppose the next conversation to have is, do we even need more live service games? Honestly, no, I don't think so. I'm not a big fan of live service games in general. There are certain genres that absolutely have to be. MMOs like MapleStory, WoW, Final Fantasy XIV, that is integral to their gameplay, to their story, to how people interact with one another. Makes a lot of sense. Other games, like shooters, does that really have to be live service? Could we not just go back to the like Modern Warfare 2 matchmaking system? Like does it have to be that, you know, you gotta buy the cosmetics and blah 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 and their seasons and all this other stupid modern bullshit that they pack into video games? Is that really necessary? I don't think so. Personally, I think that the industry would do well to focus on single-player games for a time. I think really good examples of this are games like Baldur's Gate 3, Stellar Blade, Wukong, and others that are similar. Cats are going to get in trouble. And those games have done really well, like really well, for themselves, which, I mean, good on them. You had a dev team that was competent, you had a management team that was able to get, you know, all of these things out generally on time and with, you know, good performance from the game at first. So, and that, you know, that really shines through. It shows that these things are, you know, you still can be profitable doing this. And I want to see more of that. I want to see more big single-player PlayStation games. That's what I want to see. Wow, we are almost to 60. Because that's what I like, you know? I love single-player games. I love the stories behind single-player games. The focus that you can get with a single-player game. And I think that PlayStation is actually an excellent platform for that because they're known for that kind of thing. It seems like the gaming landscape is kind of homogenized where lots and lots of franchises are available on lots and lots of platforms, but it wasn't that long ago that, for instance, Final Fantasy didn't have any entries on Xbox. I believe it was it Final Fantasy 13 that first came to the Xbox? I can't remember. I know that they were on Nintendo consoles for the SNES, but for a very long time, they were just on Sony consoles. And that was the case for a lot of games. So, these games became associated with those platforms. And in Sony's case, they had a lot of really, really good single player games in an era with lots and lots of multiplayer games. Xbox 360 shooters, as they have become known. Games like Modern Warfare 2 and Gears of War were big multiplayer titles. People love the multiplayer for those games. Modern Warfare 2 especially. I played that a lot when I was younger. I think, besides MapleStory, I believe that game would probably take second. So if I played MapleStory for more hours than any other game, Modern Warfare 2 on the 360 would be number 2. I mean, I played that game religiously. And the Xbox 360 and Microsoft in general ended up getting a reputation for having the better multiplayer platform, Xbox Live. So I'd like to see Sony kind of return to that era where they had a big focus on single player games, because personally, that's what I like. That's what I want to play. That's what I want to buy. And now that we're seeing, games like Stellar Blade come out for PlayStation, that's really cool to me. I think Stellar Blade was an excellent, excellent game. It's basically a PlayStation 2 game on the PlayStation 5, and that's what I want. Like, exactly. I want to be able to sit down and not have to go through some kind of stupid bullshit season pass or buy a piece of ridiculous tiny DLC or all the other things that come along with playing modern games. I just want to sit down and I want to play the game, and I want to earn achievements, or in this case trophies, and actually do stuff in the game to be able to unlock other things. Like, for instance, and this might seem minor, but they just don't do this anymore. The outfits in Stellar Blade are earned by playing the game, not by buying them in a cosmetics shop. I really like that. And for a single player game, to me, that makes a lot of sense. I don't think that there should be skins that you should buy for single player games. I can see the argument for skins in a free-to-play multiplayer game, because, you have to monetize it somehow. You gotta make money somehow. These things are not free to run. So for games like, for instance, MapleStory, that makes a lot of sense. For games like Monster Hunter, I don't think that makes sense. I don't think that you should be able to buy outfits from the store or whatever for your character. I think you should have to earn those in playing the game. But that's just one example. There are lots. Alright, I'm gonna move on. Alright. Well, I guess I have to job advance first. Actually, give me just 1 second. Not that one. All right, and we're back. Oh, I guess I have to go do a quest of some kind. I really don't want to narrate this right now. Oh, I guess I have to go talk to her now. Go to the third drill hall. Okay. Oh, it's just gonna move me there. Sure. Wrong key. Oh, well, that was easy. All right. Yep, we defeated the shadow. Sure, why not? Now we have to go talk to the Empress.
Welcome. It's been quite some time, hasn't it?
Your Majesty.
Look how strong you've become. I've heard so many stories about you. You have more than earned the right to call yourself an advanced knight. In fact, I have a question about your trials.
I learned that is my will. Bleh. Oh my god, speaking is hard. I learned that my will has to be unshakable and that I will work every day to keep getting stronger.
Indeed. And I have no doubt that you will. Are you ready to take on your new power?
Sure, why not? Speak to me if so, but we're already speaking. A new power for you. Make room in your equipment tab. Oh, yeah, I guess we are full over here, eh? Just drop all this crap.
I, Empress Cygnus, from this moment, and I know...
Okay, let's see. We got the new badge. One that I have now is better, so I'm just gonna keep that one. Alright, on to what we were doing. Oh, that's weird. I've never had it drop me over here before. Okay, well, that's fine. Ooh, yeah, these guys are quite a bit tougher. You know what? I'm gonna go back to Genesis real quick, and I'm gonna go grab some Legion buffs. Probably want 2 of each. So I definitely want Legion expertise. Yep. We're gonna get 2 of those, and we're gonna get Legion might as well. We're gonna get 2 of those. We need anything else? What are you? 100 to 129? Okay, so we're not quite there yet. Oh, you know what I haven't done today? I haven't acclaimed my coins. And it looks like we have a ton of this, so... Oh, right, yeah, we just job advanced, so we can actually just max out all of these. So that should give us plenty of additional range here to be able to kill those copper drakes. There we go. Okay, so I probably should take off both of these buffs and then reapply them, because now they are stronger. And we're going to look over here. So, creates a powerful gust using the emerald condensed within the power of wind as a medium to indiscriminately attack enemies on the left and right. Okay, so this is probably our new mobbing skill. Pinpoint Pierce, shoots off 2 arrows. Okay, so this is probably going to be our new single target. And we have, oh, an upgraded version of this, so... Let's see. Do I just... Does this just upgrade the one that I already have? It must.
Check this out.
Okay, yeah, it did. Now then, what else is there? guess we will go for Eagle Eye arbitrarily. I mean, we're gonna have to get them all eventually. And then we'll go back to the Silent Swamp. Oh, right. I need to actually use my Legion buffs. Actually, I guess I'll put on some of this gear. It's largely superfluous, but I think we'll be alright. Okay, that's good enough. There we go. Much better. Oh, you know what we're not using? Our new ability. Oh, that's curious. I'm just going to put these here for the time being. I'm not actually going to be using them on these keys, but what I will do is just test it out. So... interesting. So... does that go as far as this does? I wonder. I mean, yeah, it's about the same distance, I think. But this one's way more vertical. Alright, I'm going to try this out and see how it goes. It seems to me like this is the way to go, but I'm not sure. Oh, I guess we should probably use this, eh? There we go. Oh, I didn't even notice the bounty hunter portal over there. And I still haven't used my Legion buffs. There we go. Oh, I get distracted easy. Pretty good XP, right? I guess you probably use my... oh, well. I guess I'm doing enough damage that I don't necessarily need to use the single target abilities on the elite mobs. That's kind of a weird ability. I kind of expected it to kind of spread out on both sides, but it's like this vertical thing going on here. Which is cool. I like how you can use it in the air, though. Gonna make grinding a whole lot easier. God, I love the music in this area. I just want to sit here in silence and kind of listen to it. I love the original tracks for this game. Like, all the Victoria Island tracks are just... They really set the mood very, very well, I think. I think generally the music in this game is just fucking spectacular. It's really good. This and Kingdom Hearts are the only two game soundtracks that I care to listen to outside of the actual game itself. I think is a really good illustration as to how much I like it. Oh, you know, it's funny. I've been talking about all these games that I wanted to do a Let's Play for, to share my experience because of how much I love those games. And not one time have I just realized, have I mentioned Kingdom Hearts? wow, do I love Kingdom Hearts games. And I am absolutely going to be playing them on stream. And I'm absolutely going to do a YouTube series for them. But I'm going to have to wait till I get a capture card for that. One of the things that I'm considering doing is, and yes, I understand that this is expensive and largely unnecessary, but there are certain what are they called? I know that this is not the right term, but it is the term that I can remember. Like converter box, where you can send RGB out your component cables into this box, and then it will convert it to HDMI and do a little bit of upscaling as well. And Linus did a video on it, and it's really expensive. It's like $600 or $700 just for the converter itself. I'd like to get one of those and actually stream like the actual PlayStation 2 version of the game in super high quality. Well, I mean, as high quality as you can get with an upscaled PlayStation 2 signal. I think that would be super cool to do. Because I feel like most people would just play it on PlayStation 4 or 5. Or emulate it. Which, those are totally fine options, but I kind of want to do it a little differently. I still have all my original PlayStations. I still have all my original PlayStation games. So my idea is, well, I'll just get that and plug that into the capture card and stream that way. See how that goes. I think that would be very, very cool to play a bunch of older games that way. Which is purely for the, curiosities. The curiosity of it all, I think, is cool. The novelty is certainly quite high on that. But hey, I'm here to have fun. I'm here to do interesting things. Not that necessarily what I'm doing right now is particularly interesting, but it is fun. I like it. So here we are. I think that would be a pretty fun experiment. Wonder what that might look like. Or if that would introduce additional input latency. Probably. They claim these things are 0 input latency. I don't know if I believe that. I don't know. We'll see. Who knows? Maybe it's just, ooh. If it is a failed experiment, or even if it is a successful experiment, I could make a dedicated YouTube video about it. That would be really, really cool. Kind of like showing off, oh hey, this is what it is, this is what it can do, this is the kind of quality that upgrade that you can expect. That'd be very cool. And if it does work, hey, now I have a new conduit for playing original PlayStation 2 games. And others on stream. I specifically mentioned the PlayStation 2 because of its ease of getting RGB output over component on it. There are now aftermarket cables for the GameCube that work. Originally, you had to buy the ones from Nintendo because they had a little extra piece of hardware in the cable itself that allowed it to output RGB. So there's that, but everything else is pretty much a mod chip. To be able to output either to HDMI or do SCART was pretty popular for a while, to output to SCART. Or at least use the SCART output to RGB, like you piggyback off of that or hijack it. There are several ways of getting RGB out of old consoles. It's kind of interesting that was simply not an option for for consoles like the PlayStation 1 and N64, at least here in the US. SCART was a standard that they used in PAL regions, and it was RGB, so you got a higher quality signal out of there, so higher quality video. But now I'm just getting into the weeds of this stuff, which I love. I love getting into the weeds about old technology and how we were able to do weirdo analog video stuff with like component and composite and all kinds of things. It is amazing to me that, and yes, I get that the technology at the time really catered to this, but like old consoles barely put out any resolution at all. I mean, I think the N64 was running at like what 240p is what it was, and everybody thought that looked great because CRTs did such a good job of displaying low resolution images. Whoa, what the heck? The OBS okay? Yeah? I have no idea what just happened. Computer had a little hiccup there. Probably a Windows update or something running in the background. Damn you, Microsoft. I don't know that. That's wild speculation as well. Hmm. Getting a little bit of desync here. I did have a problem minutes before the stream started where I don't know. It seems we're getting a little bit here. The stream dropping frames? No. Recently had a problem with my ISP that they had to come out and fix. Turns out the tap that all of the units in my apartment connect to, my tap was corroded, so ended up replacing that, and suddenly all of my streaming issues went away. So thank you, service technician. I appreciate your time. That was cool. But it is annoying that you have to deal with that. But it also makes me really paranoid that I'm like dropping frames in the middle of the stream or whatever, but it just looks like MapleStory's having a little hiccup. Actually, speaking of MapleStory performance, I don't know that I've seen anybody talk about this at all. Like, nobody. The performance updates of this game have been amazing. Like, it wasn't that long ago that the frame rate would tank randomly, or and this was a really good one. And in fact, I've still seen this a couple of times, where you use a new ability or you go to a new area, and the whole game just stops for half a second. It just like hitches. It's like it freaks out. It also doesn't crash nearly as often as it once did. It still does. It still does. The crash shop is still a problem, where the game just freaks out whenever you try to open the cash shop, which seems like a high priority issue for Nexon, but I don't know that they really care all that much. But yeah, way more consistent frame rates. It's 64-bit now. Huh, how about that? That was absolutely a necessary upgrade. It seems like more and more games that are older are moving over to 64-bit now, which is good because the ARM revolution is coming, and that is not going to run 32-bit code. So, you know, it's better now. So it'll make the transition a lot easier. I wonder when we're going to get to ARM-based desktop processors, where you're going to see ARM-based desktop CPUs in computers next to x86-based ones in a Best Buy. I wonder when we're going to get to there. Surely it can't be that long. I mean, we're already seeing these new ARM-based laptops coming out. So I don't know. It it might be as short as 6 months to a year, or maybe it's another few years down the line. It's hard to say. But I think the whole like ARM-based CPU stuff is kind of a step in the right direction for computing in general. The advantages of ARM-based CPUs for like everyday tasks are pretty incredible. The whoops, oh man, I just smacked the shit out of my mic. I'm sure that sounded fantastic on the stream. Sorry about that, everyone. Gonna peek the shit out of my mic. But yeah, ARM-based CPUs. Cool stuff. A lot of room for innovation there. Well, actually, now that I say that, technically, I suppose, yes, there are already desktop ones in the form of Apple Silicon, because those are ARM-based, which is very cool. I'm glad that they did that. The new Macs are ARM-based, and they are very, very good. And it just goes to show, like, what can be done. There we go. Oh, I guess I have to be 70 for that. Oh well. Not like it matters all that much anyway. Let's see. Oh wow, time flies. It is already 9:36. So we're only going to be going till 10 o'clock tonight. And we'll be back on Friday for more of the same. It looks like we'll probably maybe be able to get to 70. Looks like Ho Young, though, is probably going to have to wait till next stream. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm probably butchering the hell out of that because I'm trying to remember it instead of just read it on the screen. Man, I am getting tired. Whatever you do, kids, don't get old. It sucks. 10 o'clock is the new 1 a.m. Well, this is moving along quite nicely. I have an idea. I guess we don't necessarily need this because we're already one-shotting these guys, but what we will do is assign some skill points. Perhaps we will assign to here. Actually, what I will do is this is knockback resistance, and I hate knockback, so let's just dump a bunch of points into here. Yeah. Now, what is our knockback resistance? Where are you? Actually, I don't see it. Oh yeah, I guess I haven't done my inert ability. Am I just blind? I literally don't see it. Oh, whatever. Probably do that. 120 AP is nothing to scoff at, especially at this level. Boy, it's pretty cool that this ability can hit both platforms at the same time. Makes my job a lot easier here. something that I've been considering doing is starting a progression series on YouTube where I kind of cut down my streams and talk over them. Uh, yeah, it is derivative, a la Copperson style, where, you know, hey, we're gonna get this class to whatever level. I think that would be cool to do. What I think I would probably get most out of that series is not necessarily views or notoriety, but a really good way for me to learn editing skills that I wouldn't otherwise need, like being able to cut together tons of footage. Because in my current Let's Play style videos, they are basically one long um, video that I then, like, I cut the loading screens out, for instance, or I'm upping the audio for the cutscenes, or I'm, you know, doing really, really basic edits there, but I'm not really compiling footage. This would be taking multiple video files, putting them together, cutting them down, talking over them, doing additional audio, voiceover, stuff like that. So I think that would be a cool way to learn how to do all this by starting a progression series using my stream videos as a base. Also, cross-promotion stuff, you know, be able to say, oh, hey, you know, you can always come watch me live do my progression stuff here on Twitch, blah, 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 Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Gotta say though, I really wish I had more time to do this. Like, trying to balance doing all of this stuff and, you know, doing the 9 to 5 job is... I actually don't have a lot of free time. Um, when I got home today, I actually skipped the gym today so that I could record a couple of extra YouTube videos for this week, so that I could have 6 days worth of YouTube videos. And I don't think I'm going to continue to do that. I think I'm going to probably put that down to 5. And if that doesn't work, I'm probably going to put that down to just 2. Or, not 2, excuse me, 4. Like 4 per week. I probably won't go any lower than that, though. I should be able to handle 4 per week. Because it should be at least somewhat easy to do. Because, like, really, that's not a whole lot of gameplay. We're talking maybe 2 hours worth, and then the editing on top of that, and thumbnail, and all the other accoutrement that comes along with doing all of that. It looks like we've only got about 15 minutes left. We still got 4 levels to do, so... or 3 levels to do, sorry. I think we're gonna make the 70 tonight, but that's okay. We can finish this up on Friday and start up our new character. Yeah, well, this probably... Ooh, yeah, no, we are definitely not going to be adding anyone on Discord. After I get done with this minigame, you are going to get banned. Ah, shit. All right. Oh, I just love people who have bot accounts that come into the chat to tell you all kinds of nonsense. Try to get you to go off the platform to then try and sell you some other nonsense. Yeah, some of them actually have a pretty convincing script. Others are just lazy like that, where they drop one message, and I'm sure that they're just trolling other accounts as well. Uh, going to as many small streamers as possible to just spam whatever copy-paste message they have. Let me check on something. Yeah, okay, we're still good. We good. Still got a video to render after this. One of my main gripes about my current setup is I'm having to do CPU encoding, which I probably will continue to have to do that in the future because I don't plan on upgrading my GPU for some time. But I'm looking to upgrade to a 7800 X3D from a i7 700 or 7. Oh my god, so many sevens. i7 7700. So 7th generation i7. And yeah, it takes forever to render a video, even if the video is not terribly long. The videos end up coming, they look really good. That's more to do with the render settings than it is the CPU, though. But they do take quite some time, so what I'm having to do is kind of like set them and kind of forget them overnight, and then do the titles and everything later. Hopefully with a much newer, much more powerful CPU, I can encode much more quickly and be able to produce videos quicker, easier, and with fewer headaches. Right now, though, you can expect to see a new video from me every day this week at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And I've already uploaded, let's see, so what is today? Wednesday? Yeah, so I've uploaded 4 videos already starting on Sunday of last week. There won't be a new video on Saturday, however. And those would be Age of Mythology Let's Play videos. Each video is one mission of the campaign. I have unfortunately run out of talking points for the night. We've still got about 10 minutes left. Let's see. So I plan on streaming MapleStory for the foreseeable future. Goal is to be able to do Chaos Root Abyss solo. Is presently the long-term goal. Short-term is just to do each character individually for Legion progress. Ultimate goal, AK Legion. I mean, obviously, eventually that will go up to, what, like 10K? Or I believe right now the record is 11K? Something like that. But those are farther than even just being able to do Chaos Root Abyss solo. So I'm not even really thinking about that yet. Trying to get better, trying to improve, trying to make sure that I'm doing enough damage, understanding all the mechanics, that kind of thing. I have been out of the meta for a very, very long time. And I gotta get good, as the kids say these days. Oh, I know what we could talk about. So I recently finished the series from... Oh, hey, look, we did get to 70. Huh. I recently finished the series from Sarah J. Maas called A Court of Thorns and Roses. So I believe there are 4 or 5 books. And I just finished the last one, which is... I forget what it's called. Court of Silver and something. About her sister, Nesta. The main character's sister, that is. It focuses on her. And, wow. I really liked the, all the books, all the way up into that one. That was kind of a stinker. I did not like it at all. It was, very preachy, and, the subject matter did not resonate with me at all. So that kind of sucks. The rest of the series was really good, though. I liked it a lot. I thought the characters were cool. I loved the setting. The setting is perhaps the best part about the books. I think that they had a really compelling narrative, a really compelling plot. There were stakes. There was action. There was romance. There was cool scenes. There were scary scenes. There were romantic scenes. It was really good. All over the place in terms of, like... And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, like, it was able to encapsulate a lot of different emotion. A lot of different scenes, a lot of different themes, which I think is really cool. But it sucks that I didn't like the last book. I don't know. It was, I just don't think her sister is a very likable character, if I'm honest. I don't identify with her at all. Like... And I want to feel for her, too, you know? The character is set up to be sympathetic. but I can't bring myself to be. It's just not like after reading all of those books beforehand, knowing what she was like, and then yes, it's supposed to be a redemption arc, blah blah blah, but I don't know. For me, it didn't hit. Didn't do it for me. So it's time to move on. I also read one of her other series, Throne of Glass. I finished it. I didn't like that one either. So I guess I'm about done with Sarah. Instead, hopefully, once the fourth wing, the third book comes out, what is it called? Onyx something? That comes out in January, and I am very excited for that one. Definitely going to be a day one pickup. Because the first two books were stupid good. If those don't get a movie, that will be a tragedy. Like a good movie, not like... Yeah, it's got to be good. Lots of money in the budget. All right, well, I'm pretty much just having fun here. I mean, we've done what we came to do, right? We made our wind archer. We got to 70, so that is first link skill down for this class. So we'll just take out these guys, and then we'll be done for the night. All right. Gather all their shit up, and then we'll go back to Genesis. All right. Well, thank you all for coming to the stream. I appreciate your time. We got Wind Archer to level 70 today, which is super cool. That was the goal of today's stream. Tomorrow, or rather Friday, excuse me, Friday from 8 to 10 p.m. we're going to be streaming again. And then we're going to be doing, dude, is it Ho Young, I think, is the class that we're going to be doing next, and we're going to get him to 70. And then we will choose yet another class until we have done 5. In which case, we're going to kind of reevaluate if this system is going to work for us or not. And yeah, and the journey continues. So let's see, we are up to 2138 Legion. Pretty damn good. Let me claim my coins while I'm still thinking about it. Oh, right. A character has to be on the grid, so log out of this one. And I'm just going to log back in on a different character. Actually, let me go look at the classes real quick while I'm still in here. Let's see. Where are you? There you are. Yeah, Ho Young. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. I hope so. I guess I'll just go jump on. Whoops, my bad. I go jump on my Bowmaster. Arbitrarily. Assuming that the game doesn't crash. Okay, there we go. Alright, let's claim all these coins. There we go. Yeah, I don't want to run over into the next day. Oh, I guess I did the Inferno Wolf? Sure. Alrighty then. Well, that will be the end of the stream for tonight. Thank you so much for coming. And we will be back again on Friday. So, bye now.